Welcome, students. Today's topic is Congressional Committees. We're going to discuss why committees are important, what they do, how committees are organized into types, what committee chairs do, and how they factor into the legislative process. Let's dive right in. Congressional committees are important because they give Congress a way to organize itself to handle specific tasks. It really is a way that Congress does something that you might do in your own lives, with your own jobs, with your own schooling even. It allows Congress to divide and conquer the work. So think about when a teacher gives you, your class, a large project. Normally what students will do is take the entire project, break it down into parts, divide those parts up amongst the people that are in that group, and have each person take care of a specific task. Put it all together when everybody's finished and the project is done. Well, committees allow Congress to do the same kind of thing. Divide and conquer. Break down into smaller groups, tackle smaller tasks, put the work together in the end, and have something good to show for it. So let's look at how Congress does exactly that. Each committee in Congress is typically organized around a subject matter. So it might be an area of the law or something that Congress is responsible for doing. Every committee has got a subject that they follow, and they stick to that and handle only sort of things within that area. The work that committees do includes a lot of research into what kind of problems the country is facing, what laws, the way that laws need to be designed, information that's necessary to make really good policy happen. They come up with solutions to problems, and they do a considerable amount of work putting together bills, editing them, shaping them, so that they can become effective laws in the end. There are several types of committees that I need you to be aware of. And the first type of committee is a standing committee. The thing that makes a standing committee unique is that they're permanent. They always exist. So there are subject matter committees in the House and the Senate, like the ones you see listed towards the bottom of the screen, that are always there, and they always are handling that topic of legislation. Their role in making laws is they are the group that handles any kind of bill that comes through the House or the Senate that has to do with their topic. They're sort of the first ones to see it. They're the first ones to work with it. They're the first ones to vote on it. So this is a really important way that Congress divides and conquers its work. Second type of committee is referred to as a select committee. Select committees are different or unique because they're temporary. Congress will decide to create a select committee because of some sort of special purpose. An issue comes up, a special need arises. Usually these things are organized around investigating something, acts of terrorism or some other issue or policy. And the job of a select committee is to do the investigating, the interviewing, the researching, the compiling of information to figure out what's going on and what sort of action needs to be taken. So the standing committees and the select committees are the two big ones that you're going to see most commonly. A joint committee is a special type of committee that's comprised of both members of the House and the Senate. This is unique because most standing committees and select committees are limited only to House or Senate. So there are a collection of House committees and a collection of Senate committees, and they just have either representatives or senators in them. But every now and again, the need arises for representatives and senators to work together on one committee. And so when that happens, it's referred to as a joint committee. And there are several examples of what they do. They give Congress a way to have both the House and the Senate work together a little bit more directly on issues. A conference committee is a special type of joint committee that performs a really special role. Their job is to create what's referred to as compromise bills. So a compromise bill is a bill that is created by a conference committee. And the reason why a conference committee has to do this is because a lot of times when a bill travels through Congress, it stops at committees and subcommittees, the floor of the House, the floor of the Senate, and any of those steps, bills can be changed. If the House bill and the Senate bill, even if they start out kind of similar or identical to one another, gets changed in any way, that's going to create a problem because the House and the Senate have to pass or have to vote on the exact same bill in order to send that along to the President. So when a bill goes through the House, it goes through the Senate, it comes out changed or a little different on each side, a group has to come together and sort of iron out those differences and turn it back into one solid bill that both the House and the Senate can agree upon. And this is what conference committees do. They pull together some senators, they pull together some representatives, they meet in a conference committee, and they create a compromise that they think will work if they send it back to the House to vote on and to the Senate to vote on. So conference committees have a really important step in creating these compromise bills so that the President, when it comes time to sign a bill into law, has just one document to work with. In the House of Representatives, there is a particular standing committee called the House Rules Committee that I also need you to be aware of. And the House Rules Committee is a special committee that exists only in the House, so there's no equivalent in the Senate. But in the House, the Rules Committee exists to establish the rules that each bill will follow on the floor of the House. And these rules are typically things like rules for amending the bill or the time limit that someone can have to debate or actually talk about the bill on the floor of the House. The Rules Committee essentially evaluates every bill before it goes to the floor of the entire House of Representatives. So it gets this nickname of traffic cop of the House, because just like a police officer directing traffic, it can stop some bills in their tracks and let other bills keep on going. Committees are led by a person who's referred to as the chair, the chairman, the chairperson, or the committee chair. They lead a committee. The chairperson is the person who's sort of organizing and directing the committee. This happens both in the House and the Senate. So it's a fairly important job, kind of small-scale leadership. So parties in Congress, leaders in Congress, want to make sure that they get the right person in the job of running a committee. Sometimes they pick people. For political reasons, or for other reasons, or for reasons for their talent. But in some cases, a particular rule is used to decide who will run a committee. They use what's referred to as the seniority rule. They pick the longest-serving member of the majority party in that committee to hold this leadership position, to be the chair of the committee. And in that position, that committee chair essentially determines what that committee is going to do, what their agenda is going to be. So these committee chairs have a lot of power when it comes to determining which bills committees work on and which ones they just let die. So they exercise a considerable amount of power in their smaller organization. All right, you have a couple of reflection questions that I'd like you to work on. Make sure you have those complete when you come to class. We'll talk about this and answer your questions at that time. Thank you.